Happy Friday. Good morning to you. How's your day starting out? I hope it's a good one. If not, that's what this show is about, to completely flip that around, change the narrative, and get you smiling and give you a little hope. All about positivity. I've been meeting a bunch of new people this past week, talking about the Real Monica Adams show and the team and the brand and what we're all about. And you know what? There are people on the street saying, thank you, Monica. That is exactly how I want to wake up my day. Yes. So do me a favor and share, just like you're seeing at the bottom of the screen. Share this feed and all the wonderful shows that we've done. Like, follow, make sure you're subscribing to our pages so that you know when we go to be live with you on Facebook, Instagram, as well as LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and Rumble. And all those platforms keep growing and growing. We do have a podcast, by the way, on top of the talk show, and that drops on Thursdays. That's the audio side on all of the audio platforms. And if you didn't hear, yesterday was a continuing series about those whole body scans, the MRIs that are showing things very early on so you can be proactive. Cancer and 300 plus other conditions that you could have early markers for. So it's pretty fascinating. We had Lance Mayfield as well as Jerry G on yesterday morning. If you didn't hear that, check that out. That launched yesterday at 8 a.m. Today, we're going to talk about Friendship Friday, National Wear Red Day. What's that all about? We'll mention that. We've got some news you can use for you. We'll get ready for the big game. This is my football bow shirt I just bought yesterday. I was at Blooming Daisy. Shout out to Susan Brewer. What an incredible store. Again, I'm very big on supporting local. Check that out. It's pretty amazing. Went there, got ready for the big game. So we're going to talk about the game. We'll talk about who's predicting what for the game. And most likely you're going to want to stay inside this weekend. Why is that? Well, because it's so much colder. We were just talking about how we want the 70 degrees back. It's not going to happen. In fact, I think you're going to need your umbrella, and you might even need to find that heavy coat again. We'll find out more about that as we kick things off with our What the Weather segment.
Good afternoon. Welcome back into this new More Weather Forecast video. Have a great day, St. Louis. Stay prepared out there.
Yes, and this is one of those where we say, what the heck is happening with the weather? Good morning to aspiring meteorologist Beckett Moore.
Good morning. It's been a roller coaster of weather so far.
Hasn't it? And I swear, that's what's making me sick. My body can't figure out what the heck is going on.
It's horrible.
I actually drove by yesterday. Did you feel me waving to you? I went by DeSmet and said, hi, Beckett. So Beckett has been with us for over a year now, providing all that you need to know forecast-wise. And it gets kind of confusing when we're getting ready in the morning of what should I wear? Do I need my umbrella, et cetera, et cetera. We've been talking, though, since last month. Beckett had mentioned that February was going to be colder. So although we had that beautiful warm snap in the 70s, which was so confusing because everybody had spring fever suddenly, Beckett, right?
Yeah, I know. It was that full spring.
Yeah. So now, though, things are changing for us. So as we're making plans for today, tonight, going into Super Bowl Sunday, what are things looking like? And then get us ready for that snow I hear you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be colder than what we've been dealing with. And again, like she just mentioned, some snow is on the way. So looking at the current conditions right now, here in St. Louis, 30 degrees, dew point around 19, and wind is calm as of now. Now looking at the hour-by-hour forecast, warming up towards 40 degrees, which is around average for this time of the year. Our average high for February 7th today is 43. So around average, but still pretty chilly out there. So definitely grab your coat if you're heading out today. 5 p.m. 40 and cloudy skies continuing throughout the evening. 10 p.m. 37. Now looking at tomorrow's forecast, looking in the morning around 38, we'll get some showers to move in, and that'll be happening throughout the day towards lunchtime. But then as we head into the afternoon, those showers are going to taper off, keeping a high around 40 there, cloudy as well as we head into the afternoon after those showers come through. Now finally, the 7-day outlook again today. High of around 40, they're at 39, mostly cloudy skies, low of 37. Then looking on towards tomorrow, getting up towards 48, and we're going to be seeing that rain again into the morning hours. Couple showers out there. Definitely want to grab your umbrella for those morning to lunchtime plans tomorrow. And then heading into the big game day, of course, Super Bowl Sunday, mostly cloudy skies and a high of around 40. So it's not going to be a really warm one. It's going to be a pretty chilly one, so if you have any outdoor plans, make sure to grab a coat. 27 degrees as your low on Super Bowl Sunday. And then heading towards Tuesday and Wednesday, that's when we do have 2 snow chances. Tuesday, 60% chance of snow. Wednesday, 50% chance of snow. And it does look like the event on Tuesday will start in the morning, and on Wednesday, it'll start more in the afternoon or evening. Overall, looking at light to moderate impacts from the snow. So we're not talking about, getting up to a foot of snow or anything like we dealt with in early January. This is likely going to be mostly light snow, but of course that can still cause problems. So I'll have much more details on that on Monday.
Oh, yes. I saw Dot. Dot's coming on with us in just a second, and both of us shook our head. So here's the problem with this. There are a lot of people making plans. Next week is Love Week, right? So Galentine's huge Galentine's event that we're going to talk to you about in just a second. That's on Thursday. So our driveway. Do you recommend that we park down below? Because I have to get to that event.
Yeah, I would do that. This
Okay.
Tuesday.
And are we talking thicker snow, like snowmen building and snowball fights?
Yes, probably.
Oh, heavy snow. Okay. Wow. All right. Well, again, things are days away. We're talking 60% chance and 50% chance. We're going to check in with Beckett on Monday as we look at the models and get a little closer to those days. So it's going to be a very interesting ride for sure. All right. So Super Bowl Sunday, where are you watching it, at home?
Yeah, at home.
And who do you want to win?
I'd say the Eagles because I'm as a Packers fan, I don't like the Eagles or the Chiefs, but I just really don't want to see the Chiefs win again.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about one particular animal and what they're predicting for Super Bowl Sunday coming up in just a second.
Awesome.
Well, enjoy Super Bowl weekend, my friend, and we'll get down to business with the snow that's coming when I talk to you again on Monday morning.
You too. See you then.
All right. Thank you so much, Beckett Moore. Be sure to follow him, by the way, on social media. He's very active on X as well as his YouTube channel. He is remarkable. Anything you ever want to say to thank him for the wonderful forecast he gives us, please do that. I just mentioned, by the way, Galentine's. Let's go ahead and go deeper into that. I think about 100 tickets have already been sold, but we can pack 400 women into Stonehouse of St. Charles coming up on Thursday. So you're going to bundle up. I bought my outfit yesterday, and I will be warm for this. It's going to be 5:00 broadcast time, and I'd love for you to come early because there's a bunch of vendors. So come on, sipping and shopping. It's going to be amazing. Tour the old stone house of St. Charles, and then get ready to have a lot of fun with your girlfriends. 6:00 to 9:00, some signature cocktails, themed charcuterie boards, music bingo. There's going to be a lot of fun, prizes, and you're going to be inside this. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Stone House, again, of St. Charles. If you've never been, come on out, have a great time with us. And you know what? So there might be snow out there. We're all just going to bundle up. We're going to give a bunch of hugs. We're going to love on each other and have a great time. And then there might be only a couple of tickets left for the actual Valentine's beautiful romantic dinner in the 200-plus-year-old Stone House mansion. And that's for Valentine's night. Abby Stahlschmidt will be playing the violin, a true experience night. And then on Saturday, they're going to do it again for those that can't get out on Friday night. Okay, coming up in our news you can use. I actually heard this yesterday and pretty proud for what's happening about WashU. A nasal COVID vaccine was developed right here in St. Louis, and it's been approved for clinical trials. The FDA recently gave approval for those trials in the U.S. of a COVID-19 nasal vaccine developed at WashU. The technology for the vaccine was licensed to biotech company Ocugen back in 2022. This vaccine, though, co-developed by Dr. Michael Diamond, professor of medicine and the co-director of the Center for Vaccines and Immunity to Microbial Pathogens, and then Dr. David Curiel, distinguished professor of radiation oncology. And they said, we think it will be 12 to 18 months, and we will have the results of this first phase. So again, right here in St. Louis. I normally don't like to do stories like this, but I need to bring more awareness. Do you remember the story that we did with the author of Vegas Concierge, who was just on with us a few weeks ago? And I stressed that St. Louis is a hub for sex trafficking. And a lot of you probably turned a blind eye or a deaf ear to this. Some of you didn't want to hear that particular show. But right here, it just happened and it caught my attention immediately this morning. A man was paying underage teens for sex, encouraging them to running away. More arrests to come with this man right here. You also know that I hate showing pictures of bad people. However, I need you to look at that man, because if you have seen him and you have seen him with young people, that's the thing. The police were saying, here's the things you can look for. If you know someone who didn't have a lot of money and suddenly they're showing up with very expensive looking things on them, that is an aha moment. If you see like a 30, 35, 40, 50-year-old man hanging around 15, 16, 17-year-old girls, that is an aha moment for you to say, okay, this might not be right, and keeping up attention to this. So this is a St. Louis City man that's been arrested and charged with child sex trafficking of 2 teenagers, with police believing there could be more victims. That is the only reason why I put his picture on the screen. His name is Karan Williams. He's 29 years old. He's from Pershing Avenue, and he's been charged with 2 counts of second-degree sexual trafficking of a child, 2 counts of statutory rape, and endangering the welfare of a child. Ferguson police officers received the report earlier this week for a 15-year-old runaway. They were able to access the teen's location by accessing her phone, determining that she was located at the 5300 block of Pershing in St. Louis. When they went there, they didn't only find her, but get this, folks, another young girl who was a runaway from a year ago in that home. So again, when I tell you about news you can use, I want you to start thinking about this. And if there's any information that you can provide police, because they do believe that there may be more victims, please contact your local authorities and give them that information. All right, we just talked about the big game, but how about this? A piranha? At the aquarium here in St. Louis, a piranha is predicting the Super Bowl champions. That's right. The aquarium employees used a school of red-bellied piranhas and gave them 2 food options. In the end, the piranha picked the Eagles to win, just like Beckett. So we'll see what takes place. And then I've got some information for you about a local animal shelter, because not only are we excited and getting ready for the big game, but a lot of people like to watch the Puppy Bowl, right? I actually am probably a little bit more into that than anything. I mean, I love football. Don't get me wrong. I'll watch the big game, but I also love the Puppy Bowl. And there's some dogs from St. Charles Animal Shelter that are making the Puppy Bowl. This is going to be cool. A couple of the dogs from 5 Acres Animal Shelter joined 100 others across the country in submitting several of their puppy athletes to participate. And from there, the shelter had 2 puppies drafted to play in the big game. Both of them picked to participate in the game have already been adopted, though, from the shelter, so you can't have that. Speaking of which, did you see our show yesterday, our Positive Talk Time show? Did you see Dumpling? I was working on Jim so bad when I came home. I know he doesn't want me to have 4 dogs, but that Shiba Inu is beautiful, and I would know. I've had 3 in my life. Her markings are gorgeous. The weight on her is almost like you could show her. I've never seen a curlier tail on a Shiba Inu, and her disposition is all about affection and love. So if you want a Shiba that is more cat-like and standoffish, this is not her. But I know a lot of you were interested yesterday and asking about her. She is available. Check her out through Pet Finder. She's at Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue in Cottleville, and they are having another open house today from 12 to 5, so you can go check her out. I also went through and took some video, which I will be posting right after the show, of some of the other dogs that are up for adoption. Ryder, who's been there for a while, I think is pending adoption, so Ryder may not be available. All right, before we get into Friendship Friday and our getting real with our real estate exec, Fleshman, let me look real quick. Jill says Beckett's a huge Puppy Bowl fan as well. Yes, come on, you got to love all the puppy kisses. Good morning to all of you that have signed on. Feel free to make any comments or ask any questions on any of our platforms. I just jumped over to make sure nobody is needing anything over on Instagram just yet. Nope. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick break for you. When we come back, we've got exciting news. I'm going to actually talk to our friend about this because she knows the owner of this particular restaurant, and I'm going to want her and all of you to mark this down on your calendar, because it's going to be one of our next mobile Monicas that we secured late last night. I know Fleshman is going to want to be there, and so will all of you as well. So stay tuned. Coming up, Friendship Friday when we return.
thank you so much for having me on your show. You are such a gift to the world. Your program is so needed in today's, really in the messages that people need today. So thank you. Thank you for having your faith. So again, thank you so much. I am looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to watching your show much more. So I appreciate you so much. And may God bless you beyond measure.
And God bless you, Tessa Greenspan. You're going to be seeing a lot of people show up. We'll probably have Fleshman saying what she loves about this show. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Monica. How are you this morning?
I am wonderful. Now, you might not be wearing red, but I love what you have behind you. Today is National Wear Red Day. We're bringing attention to our women in your lives because, again, we got to take care of their health. Do you know what the number one killer of women is?
Heart.
Yes, cardiovascular disease, and February is Heart Month. So, ladies, don't dismiss any kind of symptoms, etc. So, if you want to bring attention to it, put your red on today and go red. All right, I'm going to ask you, who do you want to win Super Bowl Sunday?
I mean, the Chiefs, really.
Okay, she said, I mean the Chiefs.
Hello. I've got my Chiefs earrings. I've got my
Me too.
garb. I've got stuff ready to go. I actually had a red top on. It just didn't match my cute pink earrings, so I took it off.
That's okay. That's okay.
I
We're
didn't realize
representing.
it was Red Day today.
Yep. National Wear Red. So if you're looking for like, hey, heading out the door, what are you wearing? Throw a little red on just to represent. So I'll have to ask Michelle. Michelle, who do you want to win? And I'll ask Zach so I can see on my team. I know my husband wants the Chiefs to win, but we're averaging it out. Beckett wants the Eagles. This will be interesting to see. Where are you watching the game?
We're going to be either at Athena's house or the Torettas. Yeah.
And Athena, by the way, is her daughter. So we'll find out. We'll be talking all about Super Bowl Sunday coming up on Monday morning. So get ready for that. Today, if you've never met my friend, Fleshman, she is with Coldwell Banker Gundaker. We will put all the information in our moderation so that you know how to find her. We've got some really exciting news. Now, I have been putting a lot of information out this whole week about how people do not want to miss today's show because you have provided what I think we're going to have a lot of fun, but we've got some really big educational points when it comes to real estate. So we're going to actually start on the real estate side. I can't believe this. And I've been saying it to a handful of people. My mom's like, I can't wait to see this one. So everybody talks about fixer-uppers, right? So Dot wants to talk about smart uppers. And this is the deal. You are telling me that if we don't have a smart home and you are putting your house up for sale, that it's like having shag carpeting and green appliances. Are you serious?
So I thought that was hilarious. Back in the day, we had those green refrigerators and the shag carpeting, and we kept thinking about what would the future look like? What's the future going to look like? And here we are. But nowadays, I mean, so many people have smart homes, and that's a big thing. I mean, you see it on there. People are putting it in the comments, excuse me, about smart homes. And excuse me. Part of that is not just the Ring doorbell. People have Roombas. Their house gets cleaned. By someone else. You have everything. You can actually get a crock pot and be at work and program it. There's so many things that makes the home smart. Yep. And so those are some of the things that people are now looking into. When they're looking at homes, they're looking at different things to go along with it. What about your thermostat? I mean, I know some of the things I'm saying a lot of people have. You got a smart thermostat. You can program that through your phone.
Yeah.
You can, and one of the things that I think that I hope a lot of people do is have, when no one should walk into a dark home,
right?
Especially with when right, exactly, when the daylight happens and it gets darker earlier during the winter months. You should have lights programmed that at a certain point lights just go on, and our house always has lights that go on right when it's dark. And yes, you have to adjust that as time goes on. In the summertime, we have daylight savings coming up here in the next couple of weeks. You'll change those programs, but it's the same thing that people look for when you're going to houses, between the thermostats, and all the smart things about it. It's very interesting.
It's crazy. I mean, so yes, we do have some aspects of what you're saying. My husband, as he watches this show, will go, Dot, I am not technology driven. So when we go over my brother and sister-in-laws, and sure enough, they're talking about how they get on their phone or it's, I hate to say Alexa because she'll go crazy at everybody's
I know.
face right now. So I won't say it. But she handles things for our house, whether we want her to or not. But he'll say something about to her, my brother will say, dim the lights, do this, do that. And
Right.
Jim will look at him like, are you kidding me? Like, we're lucky we even have her. And we definitely were late to the game for her. So we need to start updating all of that. If you were to say, okay, some of this is very advanced, but you should probably start doing this. What would that be? What would that list look like?
Well, I'm not even sure that it's getting people started to do it. I think it's one of the things that people are just starting to notice.
Okay.
And it's going to be at a certain price point of homes, and that's for sure.
Yeah.
But when you've got a smart refrigerator that can tell you what's missing in there and what you need at the grocery store, you're at the grocery store, you're like, gosh, I can't remember. You pull out your phone and you can tell that brings value to your home. Your stove. We leave the house. My husband's like, gosh, should I turn off the oven? And he gets his phone. And I looked at him and I was like, what? What?
Amazing.
So like, I didn't even know that we had that. But part of that is that, well, I think I spilled the beans there. I don't really do much to the cooking. So I didn't know we had that. But I mean, so when you have something like that, it does bring value to your home.
Mhm.
And like I said, it is at a certain price point. But I think what we're doing is it's just the beginning. It always starts somewhere.
Right.
And then eventually everyone has that.
Sure.
But the ring, remember years ago, the ring was like, what is the ring? And now pretty much everyone's got a ring because,
Safety.
yeah,
Really, it is. I remember a client of mine coming over and she's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I closed my garage door. And I said, okay, we'll call your husband. She's like, nobody's home. And she's like, I don't have to do that. Hold on a second. And she gets to her phone and I'm like, you can't close your garage door. You are literally 15 minutes from your house. And she goes, yes, I can. And it just blew my mind. That was one of the first things I wanted to do. So we do have that. We have a handful of other things, but I would say we are pretty behind what I think a lot of other people have. So I found that very intriguing. What about all of you? And I will say people are coming on. Rose, of who you know loves you. Rose said, I knew why I love Dot. She says, go Chiefs. Linda says, good morning to Dot as well. All of you that are on. Linda says, that's crazy. Get up, people. Get up. Yes. No, we have a lazy society that everything is done by her or on the phone. Dot, is Valentine's a favorite? Okay, we are going to talk about Valentines and Galentines in just a bit. Rose wants to know, is Valentine's a favorite holiday of yours? I see your decorations.
So I like to decorate my house every season. And right after the Christmas holiday, which is my favorite season,
Yes.
I literally, Christmas goes down and Valentine's goes up just so I can have a little red and love, throughout the house. And after that, I change into some of the other seasons. I don't really do much for St. Patrick's Day. I think I go right into something else.
Easter.
However, I do like Valentine's Day. It's a beautiful holiday. But I spent 29 years in the spa industry, in the hospitality industry. And in those days, it was just a little different, Any of you, all my friends out there listening who are in the hospitality industry, it's a very busy month. It's a very busy week. It's a very busy weekend, depending on when Valentine's Day hits. And, here's a little, tidbit. So red roses. So spas really, we don't have, when you go to a spa and you see flowers, we really don't see red roses. Red roses really indicate love, and love and massaging is separate. We don't go into massages and facials and spa services for love, and it gets confusing. So when you see red roses, that's what you see. So we pull those out. No red roses.
What
and
color did you have?
At the Four Seasons Hotel in 2008. They had 2008 roses throughout the whole entire hotel and within the spa. And you could imagine me coming in, running around, pulling all the red roses out of the.
What color? What color did you put?
No roses.
No roses at all.
No roses.
I thought maybe
any flowers,
white, right? We think about, it's so funny because guys will overthink when they want to give a rose to someone new that they're dating. Oh, I can't give red. I'm already telling her I love her. Oh my gosh, maybe I give yellow for friendship or white for purity.
Yes, I'm not really sure what they all mean, but that's just a little tidbit about
I love it.
Red roses in the spa industry.
If you're just tuning in and you have never seen my friend Dot Fleshman, she is on with us every month. We do a segment, as we're doing, called Friendship Friday. But in that, we also pull in some real estate news for you because she is an incredible real estate executive, again, with Coldwell Banker Gundaker. And I know Michelle put it on the moderating already for you, but let me just tell you, you can get a hold of her at 314-324-3317. Her email is .fleshman, period. Fleshman at cbrealty.com. And then her website is .fleshman.com. We're talking a little bit about real estate. And again, smart uppers, doing all the smart things to get your home ready. Let's talk about what's trending. So I don't have one of these, but I would love to. The aspect of your kitchens is even changing, right, Dad?
It is. And part of that is there's two parts to this. What's trending is a lot of people are getting away from formal dining rooms. And I love a formal dining room.
So do I. I
I'm
didn't
still-
like to hear this.
I do. I still love the formal dining room. I don't want to get rid of that. But some people, they just don't need it. So when you walk into a house, you'll see a living room, a dining room, you'll see a family room, then you'll see a breakfast room. But when you have these homes that are all open spaces, one of the spaces that, you've got your living, your dining, your kitchen, that's where people spend most of their time. So they're, forfeiting. Some people are just saying, I really don't need this formal dining room. But what's interesting is, and again, I always preface certain price points, but certain size square footage of a home. But if you can, what they do is they get rid of their formal dining room and they make that more of like a butler's pantry where you can cook and clean and all that kind of stuff behind the scenes,
right,
versus out in front in your kitchen. And that is a very interesting thing. And I love that as well. I do love my formal dining room, but I've seen so many things where you can, it looks like a pantry door and you open it and you go into another room,
right,
where that's where you have all your things stored, etc. So really the outside of your kitchen still is nice and clean when you have people over.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing that I thought was interesting, and again, I agree with you. I do love, and I would eat in my dining room every day. There's just something about feeling like, hey, I want to dress up, get out the good china. Again, life is short. So use your good china, drink your good wine, just do all the things that you're putting away for later. Live for the moment, folks. Here's what's interesting. So Dot's telling us that larger families are actually putting the kids in the primary suite.
Yeah.
Where are they going?
How interesting is this? So what happens is if you have big families and you've got a budget and you have to look for how many bedrooms you can have, instead of getting more bedrooms, what they're doing is they're just taking the primary suite and they put all the girls in there. And it just made sense. And then they just took the other room, the smaller room. So now they've got all the girls in there. They've got, all the beds in there. They've got their own bathroom separate. It just makes sense, doesn't it? Instead of trying to cram so many kids into these little tiny rooms. Yep. And really, we're not in our bedrooms really that long, Right. So I think it's starting to make sense where people are starting to utilize home space differently. Like we're really looking at every aspect of our space and making anything interesting. And it just has to make sense with our family. Right. Now, I will say one of the things that we have to be careful is when you own your home, you can do anything to it, Monica. But once you go to sell your home, you have to make sure it passes code. Right. So just think of anything that you're doing to your home that has to do with remodeling or anything like that. Just make sure that eventually in the future, it's going to pass code.
Yeah. Yeah, because otherwise you don't want to all of a sudden be like, no, what? It's not? I got to change all this?
And this beautiful house right here had one room that had a sink that didn't pass code. And it was very interesting. This one right here, it had a room that they used for like all their landscaping and planting and all that kind of stuff. And it had a sink, but it didn't have a drain. It just had like a bucket underneath that they just emptied out front. But I think she did something with horticulture and she just used that space a lot. Well, the new owner didn't use that. So they just kind of kept it off and did not use the sink. But again, everything's got to pass code when you go to sell it.
Sure. So again, if you are selling or buying, these are tips that we like to give you to get you ready so you're not behind the eight ball. And then next people are selling and you're like, what the heck? Well, you've got to get these things ready. Let's talk about mortgage rates because again, it's like every time I turn around and we're like, we get introduced to a real estate person, it's, oh, what's the mortgage rates? So it's funny because you actually make a comment that it's kind of like we talk about Beckett. Hey, what's going on with the weather? Now people are saying, what's going on? It's like an easy conversation. Have you seen the mortgage rates? What are they doing? Up, down.
Right. Right. That is the big thing. And you need to find yourself a really good lender and just stay in contact with them because the mortgage rates is like the weather here in St. Louis. If you don't like it, stick around, it might change. And on top of that is we've talked about this before at our last podcast, but part of it is we're really not going to go into the threes like we were before or in the
Right.
fours. We're going to stick around in the fives and sixes and sevens for quite a while.
Yep.
And right now we're in the sixes, and we're probably going to stay there for a little bit. But what's interesting, Monica, is that this spring season coming up is there's 15% more people getting ready to buy and sell, just coming out into the market than like in 2019 and 2020 when we had a ton of people coming out. So now we're expecting 2025 spring season to really be very busy. And, many agents already have clients, we're already preparing for that, whether we're preparing our houses to sell and getting things ready. And like I say, we always have to do things in advance. If you think you're going to sell in April, May, and June, you better be getting ready now because it takes a lot to kind of get prepared for that. And if you're planning to buy in, April, May, whatever, you want to be talking to a lender now because you want to prepare that as well.
Again, that's the thing. You're going along with life, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, we're going to do this, or we're going to finally pull the trigger. We're going to sell, or we're going to buy, and it's April, May, and you're like, oh, we want to do this next month. Yeah, good luck. Everybody else is ahead of you. You also have a statistic here. Interesting. 35% of homeowners do not have a mortgage.
So when you look at the whole pie of 100% of a pie, 35% to 38% of them do not have mortgages. Let's think about why. Because a lot of baby boomers who occupy homes have paid their homes off. So there's a huge portion of people whose homes are paid off. Now, what they may be doing is, and we looking at the market and what's happening is they may be also buying property. But if you do have a home that's paid off, you can take equity out of your home. You can buy another piece of property. And we talked about this last time as well. You've got your stocks that you're putting money into and gold and silver that you're putting money into, but really buying a home and having your equity in property is a big thing. And, property is always, you're always going to have that equity in your property and it increases in value. So that's a really big thing. And, when you've got someone who's got, let's just say 75% equity into their home, or they still owe maybe 25% or whatever, they still can pull money out of their home, pull some of that equity out, purchase another piece of rental property. It can be a house, and you can Airbnb it or make it a rental property, and now you're going to have passive income. So someone else is paying off your home for you. You've got that passive income. Yes, you become a landlord, and yes, there may be issues that come along with that. However, it's about being smart buying, and making sure that the value of what you can rent the property out for makes sense. But we do this on a regular basis. I'm talking to people all day long about buying their second or third or fourth home.
Yep. Well, what about first-time home buyers, though? Because I remember when I bought mine, I don't know, 30-something years ago, we were talking about how much you put down. That's changed a lot over the years.
I'm glad you brought that up, Monica. Thank you. And that has changed. We keep saying to ourselves, we have to put 20% down. And really, we don't have to put 20% down. You can actually get into a new home with 3.5% down or 3% down, or I'm sorry, 3.5% down or 5% down. And part of that is that sometimes you think that if I put 20% down, I get rid of my PMI. Yes, but you might not get better rates. You might get a better rate if you put less down. So that's why it is so important to talk with your lender. And like I said, just yesterday, I connected someone to my lender, and because they want to wait until April, to buy their home, and that's okay. But at the same time, it's like let's just have all the details before we just start making some of those decisions, and talking to your lender and your real estate agent to connect all of that together. You might not have to wait.
Yep.
And I'd like to say there's also a whole value system of what, if you want to buy a house today versus buy a house in 2 years. If someone says, I don't know, maybe we'll buy one today, or maybe we'll buy one in a year or two. When you want to buy a $500,000 house today and you want to buy one in maybe 2 years, the value of that $500,000 home will probably not be $500,000.
Absolutely. And again, when we talk about getting everything together, now it's your babies, not mine.
It's the Real Monica Adams Show.
And the real Fleshman. Again, we're going to wrap up our real estate talk in just a second, but for people who are needing assistance, where do they go for those down payment assistance programs?
Right. So connect with me, follow me, or connect with me, and I'll connect you to a really wonderful lender that's, and many lenders, if you have your own lender, connect with them. But they have something out there called an MHDC loan. There's so many different loans. There's probably thousands of different loans for every single person out there, depending on what your needs are. And but you can get a loan with a little bit of assistance to help you with down payment or your closing cost assistance. And those are things that sometimes you just don't know. So again, I preface by saying, people saying things like, I'm going to buy a house in 2 years because I don't have enough money to put down, and I just don't know because I'm not ready. And it's like, let's just talk. People don't know. And I had someone who was not sure, and we were able to do this with them, and they're in a house right now, and they love that they're a homeowner.
Again, ultimately, that's what she wants to get you to. So you can smile like all of these people that I was showing. Congratulations to all of the sellers and the buyers and everything that's been going really well for you. If you are needing assistance, I want you to always remember to support those that surprise than the woman on your screen right now. So again, .fleshman.com. You can go to that online, and then 314-324-3317. Before we take a break, is it Chirwan Demos? I don't know that name.
Chirwan, yes, she's an agent. She works with me.
Okay, so she said, good morning, go Dot.
Oh.
And then Kathleen said, I love my dining room. I set the table for different seasons and holidays at the beginning of every month, including China and Crystal. Yeah. Again, we're talking about dining rooms. Diane Isbell says, a formal dining room, please keep. Yep. See, that etiquette woman, she likes that. I had a feeling. Rose, yes, I love my dining room. I love dinner parties. And Chirwan says, I'm glad I keep my dining room. I do love it. So the dining room, that ended up being the big talk of the day.
Yeah. And that was a big thing. Like I said, when we started going to these open spaces, they started taking down walls and started having that. But
interesting.
Yeah, I love my dining room.
Again, yeah, I'm not taking mine away. Once somebody would come into the home, they can do whatever. But that was one of the things, multi-use spaces, flexible spaces, right? That people are converting maybe into a home office, a gym.
I was just going to say, the dining rooms have all turned into home offices, especially after COVID, after 2020. That's the number one thing that they've turned dining room into.
Crazy. All right, everybody. So that's our real estate talk. Before we take a break, all right, I said that today I was going to mention something that happened late last night, and I'm excited about this. Our next Mobile Monica, you ready for it? Drum roll, please. Can you give me a little drum roll, Dot? All right, everybody, listen up here. March 6th from 4 to 5:30 p.m., we will be at Viviano's in Fenton, and it's going to be Viviano's teaming up with Chef Mel's Sauce. So if you've never been to Viviano's Cafe, this is the one in Fenton. Yes, they do have a location in Chesterfield, so a lot of you might maybe purchase food and you go and pick it up from their Chesterfield location. You can do that as well, but our particular Mobile Monica is going to be at Viviano's in Fenton. We're talking about incredible Italian food, and I haven't had a chance to try these sauces yet. Michelle actually had an opportunity to do a little taste test, and she fell in love with it. Chef Mel's Sauces. Yes, look at your calendar right now, Dot, and everybody else. Make sure that you're available. Are you available?
What time?
4 p.m.
Yes.
All right.
I will be there.
Everybody
love Viviano's.
I know, right?
We love to eat there. We love to go there.
Well, here's what's funny. Today is National Fettuccine Alfredo Day. So go over there and tell them you want some fettuccine Alfredo. Jim and I actually went last night, had a fabulous dinner, spoke with Michael and Becky, and I want to tell them thank you immediately because we are excited to be there. We're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to have incredible Italian food. And then we're going to be able to check these sauces out. So Chef Metal sauces, here's the deal. From now until then, when you go to the grocery store, and you're making your own dishes at home, start buying that. Support local, support a female owned business. She's been doing this for a while now and she had her passion. It used to be a side hustle. We're going to hear all about her story. But Dot and everybody else, she is in Schnuck, she's in Straub, she's in Fresh Time, and then she's in all these smaller little like Italian shops and grocery stores. She's doing really well, and she gave us a sneak peek of some things coming in 2026 outside of sauces, something else a little spicy that's going to come in 2026. So this one's going to be fun. I'm excited that you're going to be there.
Yes, we went to high school with Michael.
I thought so. I knew you had a tie there. All right. Well, it's going to be fun. Everybody, again, Michelle's dropping all the information in, and you'll hear a lot more about this in the coming days. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about love and Valentine's. Today, I'm wearing red already because it is National Wear Red Day. So if you're looking at what should I wear and that's in your closet, it's easy. Just grab something red and you will bring awareness to cardiovascular disease and saving our women. But what about Valentine's? Everybody calls it a Hallmark holiday, right? Is it? Or was it around much before that? Well, Dot's been doing some digging for you. We're going to talk about Galentines and Valentines and friendship when we return.
What's up, y'all? Steve Ewing over here, and I'm hanging out with Monica Adams on the Monica Adams Show. It was awesome to be able to come in here, talk about what we do, and really kind of have some positive things to say about our city, about St. Louis, all the really cool things happening here. Such a great environment here, and I love her energy, and I love the energy she puts into telling these stories about the really cool things happening in our city. Thanks, Monica, for having me on the show. This was amazing. I get to talk about all my good stuff, and you get to give them that energy, which I love. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Steve Ewing, the owner, of course, of Steve's Hot Dogs, a wonderful ambassador for St. Louis and an incredible musician, by the way. He used to be with The Urge, and they actually do some stuff with The Urge from time to time. It's 7:43, and the beautiful woman on our screen right now is Dot Fleshman. We've been talking a lot about real estate. If you have any questions for her, by the way, you can shoot an email to her or drop a comment in, and I'll make sure that we tag her in it. Her email, again, is dot.fleshman@cbrealty.com. Okay, friendship, first of all. We have had some good times, and I love the fact that you finally had a chance to come on set with me. And if you haven't heard, we're moving our set. Do you know that?
I do know that.
Okay, all right. And it's actually going to be not far from Viviano's. We are going to be in Fenton, and we will be debuting our set very, very soon. We've had some incredible times together. You cracked me up. That was actually at our big gala at Clayton Winehouse we raised money for, and just a lot of fun times. It was wonderful to go and support my friend with Illuminate Health and Wellness, Lindsay Egan. She had a wonderful talk, and Dot and I went to experience that. But it's all about surrounding ourselves with wonderful, wonderful human beings. Are you doing anything fun for Galentine's? Are you coming to our Galentine's event?
Of course I'm coming, and
Yay.
I'm bringing a group with me. So all 5 of us will be there, and we're looking forward to it.
Yes, it is going to be a lot of fun. What does the bond of female friends mean to you, Dot?
I think it's just so important to just have friendships. You've got your family life, your whether you're married or whatever, but your group of girlfriends, whether they're your girlfriends from high school, whether you're girlfriends from work, whether you're friends from just the neighborhood or whatever, I think it's important to just be able to have that camaraderie and be able to just chat and talk. And with work, my colleagues at work, I just feel like I can call any one of them up and, ask them questions or get some advice or do whatever. But it's turned into more than that. And, we have this like little group text, and when something funny happens, someone might stick it on there, and, we all have something to get to laugh at. And it just brings so much joy to me, to just know that, there's people out there. And that's why we always say that if you've got a friend or someone that that's either single, they're at home, they live by themselves, always reach out. Mental health is a big thing. We talk about that a lot. And you just want to reach out. You don't want anyone to really be lonely. And sometimes it's really easy to get lonely, and people feel, that they're forgotten, or that, I think it's just important to just have that. So if you don't see someone, reach out, see how they're doing. It just feels so good to go out and just grab lunch, grab coffee or something with someone. And I love doing that with our girlfriends, going out and just, whether it's lunch or having a drink after work or doing something, and just to chat about nothing. It's almost like, what was the show?
Oh,
What was that show? It was about nothing. Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. Yep.
Show about nothing. Just go out and talk about nothing. Just talk about life in general,
Well, and I think, well, I'm going to say this, that it goes both ways. I think women need to be around women. You need that female energy, just bounce things off of each other. And then you balance it out with your honey, or if you don't have one, you have a male friend. Guys need the male energy as well. And I firmly support. I always tell Jim, go out with friends, or go out with, my brothers, or whatever. Have that bonding time together. You need that, guy to guy, girl to girl, etc. One of the things I want to talk about with Galentine's Day, because I've never been to a Galentine's event. I think from a marketing standpoint, it was always geared to women who were not in relationships. And it was almost to the point in my head of bashing love and bashing the romantic holiday, and then like, let's get together, Galentine's, right? That was the thought. I love the fact that suddenly it was switched. Ruth Choate, who is with Stonehouse of St. Charles, she was talking about having this, and she's like, Monica, I want you to come out and broadcast for us. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, but I'm married. I'm going to do the Valentine thing. And she's like, yeah, but this is just to get together with girls. So all of you that are in relationships, great. Do that on the 14th or 15th or whatever. Get together with your honey. But the day before, on the 13th, come with us, whether you're single, you're married, you're in a long-term relationship, and have the day before where we celebrate the love of girlfriends. That's what, so you get to have fun both days. But okay, you've done some digging for us, my friend, because a lot of people do say, oh, whatever, Valentine's is just a Hallmark holiday. So what do you have to say about that?
So, okay, I thought the same thing, and I thought, I'm going to just look it up and just see what it is. And so basically it started back in the ancient Roman days. And when you look back in the ancient Roman days, it basically between February 13th and February 15th, the ancient Roman, it was a festival, and it was called Lupercalia. And so this festival called Lupercalia was really about fertility. It was like a fertility festival. And I thought, what? Are you kidding? And so this is Saint Valentine.
Yep.
This is a depiction of Saint Valentine, because it was so, back in those days. But part of it is this fertility festival. And I'm thinking that's where Valentine's Day started. I mean, from where we are now. So we're going to go through the process. And I do have some notes here just because I wanted to make sure I got them right. But so at this fertility festival, what they would do is the men, they would sacrifice animals, probably like sheep or lambs back in those days, and take the hides and to whip women with it to give them good fertility.
We are not encouraging whipping.
So sometimes we say, I don't like change. Well, I'm kind of glad that changed.
Yeah.
That's just a different time in our life. But that was one of the things that they did to bring good fertility to women.
Okay, that is absolutely crazy. That's very interesting. Okay, here's the deal. So with that, the fertility side, etc., and then you talk about a lottery style matchmaking tradition also.
Right. So basically, what they did was back in those days, they also put, during this fertility festival, they put names in a jar, and the men would pull names out of the jar and go date these women, and sometimes that would lead to marriage. And so that brings me to
You got a story about your mom?
my mother.
Okay, hold on.
My mother actually, so I come from, my mother had an arranged marriage, and
did?
she did. Yeah, right?
How did I not know this?
Yes, yes, yes. So my father was here, and then they sent for him saying, he needs to come back and get married. So they sent a beautiful photo of her, and he says, the family said, this is who you should marry. He's like, okay. So he decided he was going to go back to Greece to meet her. Met her. A couple weeks later, they're engaged. A couple weeks later, they get married. And the next thing you know, she's pregnant with my sister Sandy. So,
how did I not know this for all the years I've known you?
They were married for 60 years before my father passed away. So, I mean,
he won the lottery with your mama.
He did. He absolutely did. She is a gem. If anyone knows me, if anyone knows my mother, she is godlike. She is a gem. There's no one that doesn't like her. She's the sweetest woman ever. She's got such a heart of gold, and she's always looking out for others. It's always about the others. And I think that's where we get our trait, all of us kids, is making sure that we're okay, but making sure that we're looking out for others and taking care of others.
There's so much that I learn every time we do our Friendship Fridays, but I've known Dot for a while now. For all of you that don't know how we met, she hired me to personal trainer for her wedding in Hawaii to her love, Ronnie. I did not know this about your mom. And you know what? You were talking earlier about checking in on people, making sure that their mental health is good, and loving on your girlfriends. But Dot and I have been talking for a while now about how much we gush on our mothers and how much we love them. I mentioned at the earlier part of the show to live for every second, because we never know. And we've been talking about getting our mamas together. So Dot and I are going to have a mother-daughter luncheon coming up in about a week or so. Important to do. Get your mamas together, make them friends. But you and I are very, very blessed to have incredible mothers, right?
Right.
100%. That all of our friends want to adopt.
And your mom is my roomie.
Yes, I love that. Rose just said Valentine's is not just for lovers. It's a time to make those you love and appreciate feel special, men and women. Some get depressed because they have no significant other. I know. That's what I don't like. Love comes in many packages. Yes, and Hallmark does play a role in it, but it's more from the branding and the marketing and the commercialization aspect of it.
That is correct. And that did come a little bit later. And part of what happened here with this, and I'm gonna read from my notes just because it really is interesting for people to know. But so after everything that we spoke about with, the whole fertility, so in the 3rd century AD, the Emperor Claudius II, he basically outlawed marriage because he felt that young men were believed to be single soldiers fought better.
Okay.
Single soldiers fought better because if you're in love, you're
distracted by your women.
So basically, he outlawed marriage. Well, Valentine, defied the emperor's order, and he secretly married people.
Oh.
So he decided he was going to still marry people. So what happened was he did get in trouble. He got arrested and he was executed. And they executed him on February 14th.
Oh.
So, and remember, that was years later. We were talking years before that they were doing this whole sacrificial, whipping and all that kind of stuff or whatever. So this is later. So still February 14th. This was February 13th through the 15th back in the Roman days. Now we're talking February 14th, he was executed. So according to legend, he left a note to the gentleman who killed him's daughter and basically signed it, "Your Valentine."
So do we think that's where we got that from?
So they're saying this is probably when we sign "Your Valentine," where that still kind of comes from. But with that, later in 496 AD, they basically had Galasius I. He replaced Lupercalia, which was the fertility festival, with Valentine's Day as a love day.
Interesting.
And so he Christianized it and basically made it Valentine's Day. So now we celebrate that for Valentine's Day. But when you move even further into the early 1900s, that is when Hallmark decided to make lots of cards and send cards out. And before they made cards, everyone used to handwrite their
Yes.
beautiful love notes.
Yes.
Well, now they're not writing their love notes anymore. Now they're just going and getting a card and they're like, yeah, this is good enough. Here you go. So,
It's good enough, right?
but
I
that's
wish-
how Hallmark came into it.
You've heard me say this before. I wish people would go back and write letters. I mean, again, there's something about going to the mailbox and go, oh, I got a letter. Oh, there's a card. Literally write something in the card. I went and got, I didn't, and it's those unexpected ones. My mom sent me a card because, I'm under the weather and I sound like Demi Moore. So I opened up the mailbox and there was a hilarious card on the front and it said something on the lines of, it'll get better. And then when it opened up, it said, trust me, I know things or something like that. And it just said, love you, mom. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. And she obviously signed it and then put a nice little note in there. But if you're going to send something and it's already made by Hallmark, or I'm talking like Christmas cards that you all make, that we love seeing your family and your puppies and where you've been on vacation, but write something. Don't just have it typed. I just miss personal messages that people write. It's just become too convenient. Right? I don't know. That's my thought.
Foremost manners. That was a big thing. I'm still a card writer, and people who know me know that they'll get a card from me every now and then. I love sending out cards. If you go and you just see something funny and you're like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious, and you think of your friend Tracy or something, then send her a card.
Yes.
Part of it is it's just one of those dying gifts that
We've got to bring it back.
that people just aren't doing. And I think it's important to teach, kids. I taught my kids to always write thank yous after they got their gifts when they were younger. I'm wondering if they still do that. I'm not sure, but
I hope so. My mom taught me as well, and I carry that forward. It's also the etiquette side, and we've talked about this before. Miss Etiquette just said, yes, send handwritten notes. Diane Isabel agrees with that. It's up, you get a gift, send a thank you note. Somebody gets married, there's a time frame. I asked Diane what that was. I'm still waiting 5 months ago from a wedding we went to, and I'm like, I guess we're never going to get thanks. It's just crazy. It's a natural. You should say thank you to someone that.
I think they have 6 months for weddings.
No, Diane said, I've heard that. Diane didn't agree with that, and all right, fine. So the clock is ticking. They've got a month left. All right. My friend, I know you've got a meeting to get to, so I'm always cognizant of time as well. Dot Fleshman, one of my dearest friends, can't wait for our mother-daughter lunch coming
I'm
up
looking forward to it
shortly. Cannot wait to give your mama a big hug. So again, from a real estate standpoint, you just want to shout out and say, Dot, thank you so much. I love when you and Monica are together. Shoot her an email. Again, it's dot.fleshman@cbrealty.com. Her phone number for advice and to hire her to be your real estate agent, 314-324-3317. And again, the website is .fleshman.com. So we say .fleshman.com, right? So it's dot. She will be on with me again on Friday, March 7th. So we do these at the beginning of every month. I love you. And I hope you have a fantastic Super Bowl weekend. Go Chiefs.
Thank you, Monica. It's always a blessing being on here. I love being on your show. I love sharing good stuff in the world. And yes, go Chiefs.
Oh, Lou Andrew said, totally agree on the handwritten notes. People enjoy getting the notes. Yes. Yep. We'll end on that. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you at lunch in about a week and a half.
Sounds good. I can't wait. Bye.
Love you.
Love you.
Monica's show. It's very informational, but more importantly, inspirational.
People such as myself and others can come out and talk about real issues that are taking place in our communities.
These are amazing, really, really important topics that don't get discussed enough.
It really just promotes people who are making change and doing good in their lives.
All right, just saying goodbye to my friend. Don't you love her? Again, there's 60 of you on. These are all very popular, and they've grown and grown and grown. Every time Dot and I have been together, I absolutely enjoy it. So to all of you, thank you again. Wear your red today, National Wear Red Day. Let's take care of our women. Again, bring awareness to cardiovascular disease, and maybe just get ready and support your Chiefs, right? So I want the Chiefs to win. I just kind of adopted them, right? Like a lot of people did, living here in the state of Missouri. So let's wrap up with our devotional and then get you ready for next week. And if you didn't hear about our latest Mobile Monica, we will recap that for you as well. So Friday, February 7th. Okay, we're going to go and flip to a different book. I've been reading from Jesus Listens. We're going to go to Jesus Calling. And we may have touched on some of this last year, but we're going to bring it back for you. So come to me for rest and refreshment. The journey has been too much for you and you are bone weary. Do not be ashamed of your exhaustion. Instead, see it as an opportunity for me to take charge of your life. Remember that I can fit everything into a pattern for good, including the things you wish were different. Start with where you are at this point in time and space, accepting that this is where I intend you to be. You will get through today one step, one moment at a time. Your main responsibility is to remain attentive to me, letting me guide you through the many choices along your pathway. You know, it sounds like an easy assignment, right? But it is not. Your desire to live in my presence goes against the grain of the world, the flesh, and the devil. Much of your weariness results from your constant battle against these opponents. However, you are on the path of my choosing, so don't give up. Hope in me, for you will again praise me for the help of my presence. Again, Jesus Calling from Sarah Young. Wonderful books. Jesus Calling, Jesus Listens. And it's interesting. I saw a report on KMOV's website this morning talking about our president. Of course, you know, we've changed leadership and a lot of the things that are going to be changing in life. One of those had to do with President Trump saying that he is wanting to have a deeper focus on bringing God back and all of us not being ashamed to talk about him. And yeah, I thought that was interesting. And he said something about, getting rid of the woke society and getting rid of the anti-Christian aspect. So interesting. He's also, by the way, blaming obsolete U.S. air traffic control system for the plane and chopper collision near Washington, D.C. So some interesting things coming out about that. This just coming in, by the way, famed music executive and producer Irv Gotti died at the age of 54. And Matthew Tkachuk scored with 12 seconds left to lift the Panthers past the Blues, by the way, 3-2 last night. I didn't get a chance to give you your Blues news, so I wanted to do that. All right. If you didn't hear, we sprinkled it in earlier in the show, but our next big Mobile Monica, of course, is Galentine's Day. And I do have the QR code for you to purchase your tickets. Make sure you do so. I don't want you missing out. Let's all bundle together after the snow has wrapped up and be at the Stonehouse of St. Charles for a wonderful Galentine's night. That's February 13th, 5 p.m. broadcast. Come early. I'll put you on the show. We'll have fun together. And then 6 to 9 p.m. is the actual event. And then if you didn't hear, this is the latest information. March 6th, Viviano's. You ready for some beautiful Italian food? A lot of fun, maybe some good wine, and just enjoying company with your Monica's Maniacs. Festa Italiano Viviano's, where every day is an Italian festival. And it's Viviano's teaming up with Chef Mel's sauces. Sweet Sicilian pasta sauce. I understand she's got a spicy one as well. She actually has 4 for you. If you've never been to Viviano's, go to vivianoscafe.com. You can visit them in person or you can order from their website. I saw somebody earlier that said that they go to their Chesterfield location. I think that was Julie that was saying that she goes to their Chesterfield location a lot. Well, we're going to be at the Fenton location. Again, Michael, Becky, thank you so much for booking us, as well as Chef Mel. It is going to be a blast. And by the way, the hits keep coming. We've got more Mobile Monicas going on behind the scenes that I cannot wait to tell you about, but I'll get them all secured and we'll give you all the dates. Let me just tell you, we're going to see a lot of each other over the month of March and April, I believe, because it's going to be one right after another. And here's the exciting news coming up on March 4th, as long as I don't get sick again and miss a show. That is going to be, are you ready for it? 500 shows in less than 2 years' time. We started the show organically, just kind of sprinkling in 5-10 minutes at a time in April of 2023. Really got going in May. Our first in-studio interview in Richmond Heights was June 12th. So we have done 500 shows with you. Thank you for tuning in day after day after day. I cannot believe this, but we are going to have a massive celebration. I actually came up with an idea last night of being out that entire week and not being in the studio, to get out in areas all over and being booked for Mobile Monicas in the Missouri area, of the Illinois area. So that's what I'm working on, by the way, so that March 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, maybe even Sunday the 9th, that we can be out giving you an opportunity to just have a great time with us, have beautiful memories about some of your favorite guests, invite some of those guests, have wonderful music, food, drink, and just gather over positivity. That is the idea. So we're working hard behind the scenes, but we definitely are already booked. March 6th. Well, that'll be part of the week of the 500 celebration. It's going to be a lot of fun, but stay tuned because like I said, there's more to come. Probably come Monday, I'll tell you about some more. Speaking of Monday, Diane Isbell will be with us, and Shelly, I want to make sure I get her name right. Oh, hold on a second. It's like love, I think is what Diane was telling me. I don't want to say it wrong. Let me look it up real quick. She's going to be on with Diane, and we're going to be talking about an event coming up at Herbie's, which happens to be on March 6th as well. I know it's going to be competing, but I got to go and do the things that we've got to do with our show. Diane is going to be involved in a derby party at Herbie's. Shelly Covey, that's it. So it's like love you. Shelly Covey and Diane Isbell are going to be on with us on Monday, and we're going to talk all about diabetes, juvenile diabetes. We're going to talk about helping with that and a wonderful event that they're going to have at Herbie's. So if you can't come to ours, then maybe you go and support them. Tuesday, speaking of really keeping God and faith around and spirituality, David Hawkins, who is a pastor in the Collinsville area, he's going to be in studio with us. So we're going to have some really incredible continuation of our faith talk. And Joe Mew, I think that might be how you say his name, he said, I wish I could have stayed on with you the other day because I had so much more to say about my talk. Spirituality, religion, faith, can they all intertwine? Joe, come on the show and feel free to make any comments that you would like. Jen says 500. Yeah. Congrats to all of us together because we believed that we can wake up to positivity and hope and light, etc. Some exciting things to come. We are going to hear more about the background and the passion, by the way, of Viviano's and Chef Mel. They're going to come in studio on the 18th, which is a Tuesday. We're going to hear the human interest side story, right? Like we always love to go and support these places, but where did the idea ever come from? The passion behind that entrepreneurial spirit. We're going to have all of that for you on the 18th, and then putting some other great shows together. If you've got a guest that you would like for me to have on, reach out to me. Guests, topic ideas, etc. We've got a lot to do as we go beyond 500 and we start chipping away at 600. So it's going to be fun, and it only exists because you show up each and every day. There's still 51 of you on. I'm going to save my voice. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the day with my honey and our doggies. Looking forward to bundling up and enjoying Super Bowl Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's on Fox, by the way. My mom was asking, get ready to watch all the commercials, watch the Puppy Bowl. We mentioned earlier that some St. Charles puppies are going to be featured in the Puppy Bowl, so it should be a good time. And then, of course, on Monday, before we get into our talk with Shelly and Diane, we'll talk all things Super Bowl. I want to find out, by the way, what commercials you loved best. When I was in news, that's what we all did. We all talked about our favorite commercials, of course, talked about the game, talked about the halftime show, the music, the national anthem. We'll do all that. We'll talk, you'll comment, and I would always want to hear from you. I love you all so much. Truly. Thank you so much for tuning in and for all you've done for us. Let us know what we can do for you. We want to get all the way around the area, Missouri, Illinois, and we're even talking about taking a trip to Texas to do Wet Your Whistle Wednesday inside of a wine barrel. You got to stay tuned for that because you might even win an opportunity to join us on that. So many exciting things to come. And this show can be heard all around the world. So there is nothing holding us back from coming to you, to your family, to your friends all across the U.S. or in other countries. Love you all. Have a beautiful weekend. Stay warm. Enjoy your Super Bowl. We'll see you Monday morning. And remember to always be kind. God bless you.